Welcome to the latest episode of the Best of Cool Culture Corner. We look back at some of the early episodes of the podcast Cool Culture Corner and apply them to today in the world of pandemics, post-pandemics, unrest, all kinds of different challenges and things in just a few years. I am Ken Bader, your host for both the Best of Cool Culture Corner as well as the podcast Cool Culture Corner. And we're going to look back at not only an episode from 2017, but also an article that I wrote a number of years ago at the same title, which is What Can We Learn About Business from the Food Network? Now, in the article and in that particular episode, I talk about what an amazing cook and baker my wife is. She doesn't do that by trade. She has a whole different profession. But as I tell everybody, I will put my wife up against any cook or baker anywhere. She is amazing. And yes, while I play a snippet of that particular episode from 2017, I'm going to put up a picture of her key lime pie. And as I've said before, possibly on a couple of the episodes that I've done before, I don't like key lime pie, but I love her key lime pie. It is awesome. And that's just one of the amazing things that she makes. So kudos to her. But yeah, if we can learn one thing about business from the Food Network, that for the love of God, we really, really need to relearn now in what is turning out to be here around March 2021, some kind of new normal, getting out of a pandemic, getting back to business type of thing that we got going on. What we need to relearn is engagement. And what I mean by that is, from the article, we need to understand exactly where marketing and sales fit. And from the particular episode, which I'm about to play for you, we need to learn the art of engagement and not just simply being annoying. But let's listen to a portion of the episode from 2017 of What Can We Learn About Business from the Food Network?
From a culture building standpoint, one of the things that I notice on the Food Network, especially on one of my wife's favorite shows, and one of the ones that I actually kind of enjoy myself, is the next Food Network star. And you see a lot of these folks that are trying to combine two talents into a career and expertise. They're trying to combine the ability to cook and bake at a very high expertise level with the ability to teach and engage with an audience. And it's interesting because I always joke with my wife that, I feel that, if I could only cook, maybe I'd have a shot at this because, I do actually enjoy doing these podcasts, doing the, being in front of a camera and doing video, writing my articles. That's something that I really enjoy. And I'm not afraid of the camera and try to be as engaging as I can be. Maybe that comes off well, maybe that doesn't, but that's certainly my intent and something that's enjoyable to me. But I don't have the skill of cooking, and I see a lot of these folks that are trying to make it as the next Food Network star, is that they're great at that particular talent of cooking and or baking, but not always at engaging with an audience. That seems to be the normal problem. You've got some people that can make some great stuff. It sure looks great on TV, and from the judges that are on that show, you can certainly get a reflection of, if it tastes good or not, and if it's well made. But, a lot of those folks, have a real hard time in front of the camera and in front of an audience. And so, from a culture building standpoint, we have to learn to find a way to engage. We talk about building more productive teams that leads to better profits and growth. Well, in order to do that, we first need to engage with our employees. And I see this, ironically, at restaurants and other different places. You find owners that are really, really expert at cooking or baking, but have a real tough time engaging their employees and even engaging their customers. You would think that while employee engagement may be a tough task, something we absolutely need to do, whether we're a restaurant or hair salon or bank or credit union, any service-based business requires us to engage our employees at a high level to truly be productive and get the most profits that we can. But it can be a very tough task, but you would think that, okay, you're a customer or a client or a member, you're basically kind of paying my salary and helping my particular business, that you would be able to find a way to engage those folks, and even that sometimes is a problem. I think of the soup Nazi on the sitcom Seinfeld, where the guy made great food, but would tell people, no soup for you. That's a little bit more true to life than I would like to admit. So what can we learn about the Food Network? Or better yet, what can we learn about culture building from the Food Network? Is that it's great to have an expertise in a particular skill. But in order for that skill to truly shine, we also have to be able, at some level, to engage with our audience. And many times in culture building, that first audience is not our customer, but our employees around us, so that we can engage with them and give them a comfortable environment to their, in turn, engage with their customers and so forth. In fact, I would say that if you're an owner or manager or CEO, that first learn how to engage with your employees and then learn how to engage with your customers. Because even if you do want to stay in the background, maybe you are the owner of a restaurant and you're an excellent cook, and you don't necessarily have that desire to interact with customers. Maybe you're more of an introvert, but at the very least, learn how to engage with your employees, or for the love of God, please hire a manager that does engage properly with your employees, so you can create that environment where the customers want to keep coming back. And also to make sure that if you aren't that person, if you are that introvert, or you are that person that does have a tough time with engagement, make sure that you at least learn enough and come with the right mindset to be able to engage that audience from time to time. Because expertise is great, but if we can't bring other people along and we can't build an environment where those folks actually want to work for us, we're going to have a real rough time. And much like those folks on the Food Network, maybe you could be cooking in a particular food truck or something like that, but building a business is going to be very difficult for you.
So in that episode, I talk about engagement. That sometimes, in business, much like in the next Food Network star, which I mentioned in the episode, we could be great at business. We could be awesome at delivering a specific product. In the case of that particular show, we could be expert at making terrific food, but being able to be on camera, to be engaging, to be able to make people want to engage with you is a completely different thing. And what I'm seeing today is that, to go back to the article, we've left the idea of the importance of marketing and have gone back to almost a hard selling mode that I haven't seen in well over a decade. And in terms of engagement, We are just simply pushing ourselves on other people. And what I mean by that is the sales attempts have been ridiculously annoying and irritating over the last number of months. And ironically, it seems like it's even worse now that we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, getting out of the pandemic in business as usual. To my point, I've literally had in the last 24 hours 4 LinkedIn messages or emails on blind solicitations. They don't know me. They obviously, based upon their pitch, don't know my business. Coupled with, I don't even know, I've got to look at my phone, probably at least 8 blocked calls, or calls that I just ignored where they didn't even leave a message. It's gotten to the point now where even in my home office, I've disconnected my home phone because I get 2 or 3 unwarranted solicitations via my regular landline that I've literally disconnected it. Fortunately, there's only been one message left on it in the last, I want to say, 5 days, that I've had it disconnected. I know when there's a message because it comes to my computer, and of course it was just a recording. But I know those people have been calling, and I'm glad that they're not even bothering leaving a message, and they're getting a voicemail message greeting right off the bat, rather than my annoying voice with a robocall after waiting, it seems like 60 seconds for somebody to come on. But it's ridiculous. We've gone to not even worry about or understand the art of engagement to just simply throwing darts at a dartboard and throwing, in essence, darts at people's chests. None of the solicitations that I have gotten in the last 24 hours has had any understanding of who I am or what my business is. It's literally been a shot in the dark. And much like I said in the article, marketing and sales are 2 different sciences or 2 different arts. And it seems like we've gone right to hard sales rather than understanding the necessity to create the right marketing mix in order to begin engaging somebody, rather than just saying, hey, I sell this service, let's talk about it, let's set up a meeting. That doesn't work. All that does is make you annoying and make people never ever want to engage with your brand again, much less use your product or service. So, what can we learn about business from the Food Network today? First off, as I mentioned in the article, marketing is much like baking. We need to have a specific recipe, and that recipe rarely begins with, let's add a cup of hard selling at the beginning. That rarely, if ever, works, unless you're trying to possibly take advantage of senior citizens. That unfortunately seems to work more often than it should. But marketing is all about coming up with the right recipe, the right mix. What I personally use, which works for me, is one, if I connect with somebody via social media, I rarely, if ever, reach out to them right away. They may reach out to me, and that's fine, but I rarely reach out to them right away. When I do reach out to them, it's usually either A, to be a guest on my podcast, which people generally find flattering. Maybe they don't want to be on my podcast, and they just tell me that, and that's perfectly fine. But they generally say thank you, and sometimes no thank you, or many times, yes, I would like to be on your podcast, or tell me more. And that's engaging in a conversation. Or what I will do is I will offer some type of free ebook or something of that nature in order to begin engagement, to give them some value before asking for anything, and making sure that I'm developing a relationship with them that is welcome before I mention any of my products or services. And when I do mention any products or services, the first one isn't some type of $10,000 package. It's usually something on a smaller level, maybe $10 or $50, that will add value to what they're doing in their business and not be this huge outlay of resources when there's just getting to know me and getting to see how I can work with them. What I don't do, as soon as I get a Facebook connection, a LinkedIn connection, or any other social media or email, is say, hey, it's great to meet you. I do X. Can we set up a virtual coffee for 15 minutes so I can waste 14 minutes of your time before you ascertain that I haven't done my work in order to really understand your business? What we can learn about business from the Food Network is, if anything else, engagement. You could be an expert professional, but TV, radio, podcasting, sales is all about building that engagement. And from a business standpoint, many times that engagement is the right marketing mix first before we enter into the sales process. So thank you for spending some time with me today. Hope you're enjoying the Food Network, of course, as my wife does. And here's hoping that you have a cool culture corner at your unique business. Take care.
Now a word from our sponsor, Bader Training and Consulting. BTC is the creator of the B plus C plus S formula. Our clients that implement that formula increase their net income by 124% and grow their business by 17% on average. The best place to start working with Bader Training and Consulting is with our B plus C plus S audit. The service pinpoints issues as well as attributes of your business's unique brand, culture, and strategy. Learn more or sign up for a B plus C plus S audit at www.btcinc.net/BCS-audit.